Oh, this year's budget was a balancing act of fiscal prudence and helping Singaporeans cope with the rising cost of living. At the Singapore Budget Forum, Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister Lawrence Wong added that many measures focused on helping vulnerable groups. Heidi Ng tells us more.
To sit across us, like you guys here.
At the Budget Forum, Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister Lawrence Wong spoke to Singaporeans from all walks of life. There was more spending during the pandemic years, and the current economic environment is also weak. That's why he says this year's budget was especially challenging in finding the right balance when it came to helping Singaporeans cope.
We want to do something to spend to help them, because if we were to taper down and reduce spending too much, then I think you will not be able to do enough to help Singaporeans. At the same time, if you spend too much, you may inadvertently stimulate demand and cause inflation to be worse. So it really was a balancing act, and in the end, we focused our spending. A lot of the measures were focused on the lower income families, which I'm sure Singaporeans will appreciate, need more help.
One employer was concerned about raising Central Provident Fund salary ceilings and the timing of the move.
From the business point of view, cash flow now becomes a bit tighter, and actually for the employees affected, the take-home pay is reduced as well. So I was just wondering, because it kind of flies against the whole measures to cope with increased cost of living, but now we're kind of reducing the cash component here.
We also need to look at the long term. Retirement adequacy is a very important issue, and if we don't start building up for our retirement, we are storing up more problems for ourselves and for society. Wages are going up, prices are going up. We ought to be also keeping pace with inflation. But precisely because we recognize that this is not a good time to do, and so we decided to, after discussions with the tripartite partners, phase it out over quite 4 years, so 4 stages.
In Mr. Wong's budget speech, he identified innovation as a key growth area. It comes at a time when the global economy is leaning towards greater competition for investments. Another business owner questioned if more government contracts could spur innovation among local firms.
Beyond creating products, beyond creating inventions, there is the demand side. Who is buying the innovations? So typically in Singapore, for innovators, for ourselves, we have been investing in innovations for years. The problem is trying to get the products out there. And the biggest successes we have ever had was government procurement.
Spurring innovation is a separate matter. Then we have so many other schemes in which we can spur, motivate innovation. And I hope, more importantly, that our firms do not rely on government procurement to be successful, because if they do, I think we are in trouble.
That's right.
First of all, our market is so small, and then government procurement is just a very small fraction of that market. So it's very important that our firms, if they win a government contract, very good, so much the better. But really the market for our firms, the demand that you talked about, has to be international.
Mr. Wong adds that there are other ways businesses can innovate by working with the government. These channels include pilot programs or projects.